The start of the show.
You know, it's really good that you're the one who sings copyrighted theme songs and jingles whenever we sing them on the show, because I think your interpretations of them are very unlikely to get us to get us sued. That turned from, I think, Indiana Jones into Star Wars. Like, it would be very difficult to attack.
Which Harrison Ford movie is this from?
I'm not criticizing
Both.
you. I'm saying it's a good thing. Welcome to the WAN show, guys. Sorry we're a little late. I know that you've grown tired of our excuses, and there really is. Honestly, I have never seen this one before. Please. So the funny thing is this is at least partially my fault, even if I didn't realize it.
A little bit.
So I had requested to XSplit, and this is actually really cool. I had requested a feature in the software because we have one camera in particular that you cannot turn off the output of the onboard microphone over HDMI, and we have one capture card that does not allow you to select a single mono channel and output it in stereo mono, okay? So I requested a feature that would allow you in XSplit to clone the left channel to the right or the right channel to the left. They obliged. They provided said feature. So I was trying to set up the show today. I didn't realize this, okay? I was trying to set up the show today, and I had levels on the microphone, and I was talking into the microphone, and the recorded file, which I always check now because I'm tired of you guys being the ones to inform me that that I'm doing it wrong. So I did a pre-recording, and I checked it to discover that, oh, there's no audio on the output file. Turns out my feature's there, except it was cloning the empty channel because we have a mono microphone to both channels, which the audio level monitor doesn't account for. So,
Maybe
okay.
additional feature is to check if the channel is empty and then make the default option to copy the non-empty channel.
One Storange says pre-recorded, to which I would reply, I am either a freaking genius or
Big and Tasty posted 2 Squirtles. I like Squirtle a lot.
I like Squirtle.
Yeah.
And we've got a bunch of you saying there's no audio, but we've also A, I checked, and B, we've got some of you saying that indeed there is audio.
Yeah.
So so there you go. That's what happened today. I have been diagnosing why I have audio levels on my indicator and no audio in my files. You know, because I'm not audiophile. And oh dang!
That's good.
Snore, but whatever says totally not live. So there you go. All right, let's get into the show. We've got a lot of great topics for you guys today. Number 1 is, of course, Google I/O, sort of a big deal.
Yeah.
Number 2 is after I scroll through all the Google things, NVIDIA has posted official GTX 1070 specifications. Pretty similar to what we were thinking, but it's nice to have that confirmed.
Yes. Also, there's an English bank that is literally going to electroshock you if you spend too much money, which is fantastic. I think that is wonderful and hilarious. Also, Uber is joining the race for driverless cars because screw employees. Who needs them?
Who may or may not be employees, by the way, you know, because
if AI gets so sophisticated that we create a massive AI force to do all the work for us, and then we have to pay them, wouldn't that suck?
Sponsors! Wow, that is a big sponsor call out. That violates our normal sponsored spot guidelines.
Cook-ba!
Cook.ba!
Cook.ba! Blue Apron, started by Vikings. Not true. possibly true. Not sure.
What the hell are you talking about?
Cook.bar. That's what I'm talking about.
So I feel like the first thing that we should probably acknowledge is the way we tried to pull the wool over your eyes last week with a pre-recorded WAN show. So to be clear, not a whole lot of forethought went into that.
Nope.
We sat down to record the show and I was like, you know what we should do? It would be funny.
We should pretend that it's live.
We should pretend we're live. The internet connection there was awful.
There was no way it was going to be able to be live.
No, that was not going to be a thing. And I will confess that while our plan did not extend to altering the time on the clock in the bottom right-hand corner of my screen.
Whoops.
It did extend to us starting the pre-recorded broadcast a little late, so you guys wouldn't think something was up.
And we did, like, a few people said this, we did say that, like, the chat's complaining about the camera or whatever else, which if we were noticing those things, we probably would have super noticed the massive glaring audio issues that we apparently had.
So I figured out after the fact what the audio issues had to do with. It seemed like they were related to the audio input from that recording camera not coming in anymore because the battery died or something, and then it took the microphone a bit to get its crap together. The weird thing about it is that we were using a single microphone. We were recording on a Razer Siren, and that microphone was running the whole time, and that was responsible for both the left and the right channels, but only one channel was messed up. So that's why the archive didn't have the audio issues, which took me until about 6 a.m. to fix, by the way, because non-fixed frame rate footage is a nightmare. When the camera switched to the webcam was causing a desync even in Sony Vegas, which handles non-fixed frame or variable frame rate footage, not non-fixed, variable frame rate footage better than anything else. I went through Handbrake, FFmpeg, because I'm familiar with taking variable frame rate footage and turning it into something that Premiere can recognize with FFmpeg. There is a procedure for that. It's a pain in the butt, but it's doable. But I tried that. That didn't work. Handbrake didn't work. Premiere didn't work. Vegas didn't even work. And to make matters worse, I didn't have any of those programs installed on my laptop. The internet was awful. So I was trying to do all of this stuff remotely because I had actually already sent the file back to the office.
Right.
And then I would have to upload them from the office to YouTube, wait for processing on a 55-minute video, and then I could preview it back in my hotel room to find out if the synchronization was working.
That sounds horrible. Question, though. How does XSplit footage end up being mixed frame rate?
So,
because it's not always mixed frame rate.
I think they have a, okay, it was a new install.
Okay.
Because I was streaming off of a machine that I don't normally stream on.
Okay.
So I hadn't gone through all of my procedures. But the weird thing is that it wasn't FLV. It was variable frame rate MP4, which I think may have actually had to do not with XSplit screwing up, but with XSplit covering my butt when the camera changed to the webcam.
Oh.
So I think we ended up with a variable frame rate MP4 that XSplit somehow managed to merge because the webcam was running at a different frame rate.
Yeah, okay, because I was going to say, I've used XSplit to record things a number of times and imported into Adobe Premiere and had no problems, but I do also know that people have had problems doing that.
Yes.
So I wasn't sure how that worked.
But we had no choice because the battery died. You know what the funny thing is about after that broadcast? Where I had, and some of you actually noticed this, is hilarious, my laptop was running off of a portable battery bank that couldn't output enough current to run my laptop, so I had to constantly keep turning it back on because the overcurrent protection was triggering. But right after the show, I found an outlet on the wall. It was like
right beside it. Yeah, that was rough. Oh man.
Oh, that trip was actually pretty tiring. I had a lot of fun. Travel day back was kind of a drag. It was
I don't know. I just like went on my yeah. I don't mind layovers as much as most people do because I'm in like this place that has everything that I probably need. and it okay.
It has
if
internet?
it has wall outlets,
And it has wall outlets mostly, unless you're in like Malaysia.
yeah, then it's fine. And most airports in the States have those things. So I
Yep.
just like plugged in my laptop, plugged in my earbuds, or my other headphones, which I bring both of, just in case I get annoyed with one of them. Like, I don't know. I have everything that I need in my bag always, and I'm in a place that has everything else that I would really need. And it's just like, oh, okay, well.
Yep. Yeah, I don't have as much of an issue with it either, which probably made me less empathetic than I probably should have been. All right, so this was posted by Suicidal Franco on the forum.
Well, like the general discussion thread was posted by Suicidal Franco, and then we're gonna have a bunch of like different things from like The Verge or Techno Buffalo or whoever else happened to cover it.
Yeah, so Google I/O, kind of a big deal. So first up, our original article here is from Techno Buffalo. Let's go ahead and
Techno Buffalo.
screen share here. Our good friend John Rettinger over there. No, Brandon Russell, so one of his guys, but I'm sure John glanced at it at some point or another. This is the Google Home.
There's also home.google.com if you want to see news directly from Google. It's kind of Google's response to the Amazon Echo, which did we ever actually release a review on that?
Okay, so the Amazon Echo, we bought one.
Yeah.
We got it here in spite of the fact that it's not available in Canada. We realized that nothing worked in Canada, and we couldn't even like VPN trick it in any kind of meaningful way.
Because like it just didn't know how to do, like with Microsoft for Cortana. I don't think you have to anymore,
No,
but
it's
for a
in
while
Canada,
there, to get it to work, you had to VPN out to get it to work. But then it actually was kind of fine. I understood why they didn't do it because it didn't know everything.
Yeah.
For most general things, it was fine. Not Echo. Echo just no.
So we had a contract writer that was writing tech quickies for us at the time, and we sent the Echo to him to do an LTT for the first time ever. And he basically disappeared off the face of the earth, and now he has an Amazon Echo.
I was just gonna say, got that Echo though.
He's a nice enough dude. I harbor no ill will towards him.
There was some crazy stuff going on. He
yeah,
probably just misplaced it.
His life was complicated at the time, but he has an Echo, and we do not.
Yes. Google Allo. Google Allo.
Oh, really? We're not going to talk any more about the Echo?
Sorry,
or the...
I thought we were done.
Excuse me, the
I guess
home.
that was the problem. I felt like we stopped talking about the Echo, but we actually just, yeah. Anyways.
No, the home.
You're right.
You did it too.
Anyways, it will answer questions. It will play music. It will have LEDs. Thanks for them notes, bruh. It will be customizable with different colored shells. So you can like, if you just need to kind of put it somewhere in a dark corner where you don't really see it, you can probably get it in black. The one that they have in their main picture on home.google.com is in white, which looks like nice and clean and stuff. It can communicate with a Chromecast.
That's cool.
Which is actually quite cool.
Yep.
But it won't support multiple Google accounts on launch, but it might do that later.
I don't know if you said it plays music. It does do that as well.
Yep.
So that should tie in pretty well to the Chromecast tie-in.
Yes, because hopefully Chromecast music or Chrome music or whatever they decided to...
I forget what they call it.
Yeah, but the music version of the Chromecast can tie in with this thing, and then it can play sound, because I don't really trust this like tiny little speaker to be very good or useful in terms of playing sound.
Google's branding sometimes in its simplicity gets complicated.
Yeah.
Because we're working with the Google store on like a Father's Day thing. I don't know if you know about this.
I've heard about it.
So I'm going to be, actually I don't know if the contract is signed, so maybe I won't be, but in theory,
possibly.
I'm actually going to be showing a bunch of Google technology to my grandpa in not necessarily just like a straight up Elders React TM type of ripoff that I will probably get sued for or something.
Okay. At least we know.
But it's more about here's a guy who I tried to set up with an internet connection 10 years ago with like a hand-me-down CRT monitor and like a cheap tower and like I tried to make it as affordable for him as possible, and he loved it, but it was like really hard on his eyes because the screens were small and stuff at the time. So here's me kind of trying to bring that into the year 2016 and show him some of the cool applicable things that some of Google's technologies would allow. Things like better medication notifications and reminders.
Definitely, yeah.
I'd love to see him try VR. So I've just...
Yeah. Old people in VR are like...
So I think they're sending a smartwatch, a Nexus 6P, so a nice big smartphone. I'll have to see if it has like old man vision mode.
It probably does.
I think it
or
does.
There's an app you can get. That,
Yep.
Yeah.
They're sending a Google Cardboard. There's some other stuff too. So I'm working on that. But anyway, getting back to my point that I was trying to make, one of the things that they were saying was, we want you to be really clear that you're working with Google Store. I'm like, yeah. And they're like, that is not a retail like Google Store. It's like a website, Google Store. And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, it is separate from the Google Play Store, which is not the Google Store. Because the Google Store sells physical items.
The Google Web physical store.
So anyway.
But doesn't the Google Play Store also sell devices? Or is that wrong?
I think it has.
'Cause I thought you could
I think
buy...
it has at times.
Yeah. Oh man.
So back to where we were trying to figure out Chromecast. I was going to suggest that maybe it was like Google Music, but then no, it's like Play Music, because I couldn't remember what they call the damn thing.
Yeah.
And
that's a nightmare.
Yeah. So like, is it Chromecast Music, or which is different from Google Music?
The best thing is we could have just
different
Googled this the whole time.
I know,
with
right?
their own software, we could find it out.
Oh, there's people commenting in the chat about the uncensored F-bomb in one of our recent videos.
What? What video?
Oh.
Was it me?
No.
Oh, good.
And, well, you wouldn't have edited it anyway. Like, it was an editor.
No, did I say it?
No.
It was an editor saying it.
No, I said it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wasn't me this time.
Yeah, so, no, I just said here is, gold star for Smarty Pants is already knowing how, like, IPMI and Wacom LAN and, like, all that stuff works. I was just like, well, here's a gold star. For the rest of you, here's a video. And it was supposed to be
I should have
censored.
said that on the Synergy video.
Yeah. It was done by, yeah. Well, part of it was seeing those comments on some of your videos as well, where people will watch our videos and they'll go, is this the first time you ever heard of Wacom LAN? I've known about this for 15 years. It's like, okay, yeah, that's good.
What if it's someone's first year into computers, bruh?
Then why are you clicking on a video about Wacom LAN? Maybe just don't. Maybe just don't. I mean, click it anyway. We love your views. We love to talk to you guys. Sometimes we make jokes, and
maybe there's something in there that you didn't know about, or maybe there's something that we missed, and you can help inform people.
In the comments, you could say something helpful or constructive. It's like, oh, I've known about this forever, and so I was proactively responding to those comments and giving them gold internet stars, which I think is important. You like a gold star for something that you've known for a long time that I didn't, right?
Sure.
Makes you feel like a big man?
Yeah.
Gold star right there, buddy.
That would actually be wonderful if we all got gold star stickers. Like, anytime someone around the office helps you, you like put a gold star on their shirt.
You know what's horrible? Is like, from my experience as a parent and as a swimming teacher managing kids, and from my experience as a small business owner managing adults,
it would probably work.
the principles are really not very different.
Yeah.
And what's really funny is what you're saying and joking about is really not that different from the kinds of principles you will read about in management books. The only difference is the
physicality of it.
Gold star.
Yeah.
Because walking
You're basically
around
doing the same thing.
giving people little attaboys for doing something right is actually by far the best way to reinforce positive behavior.
Yep.
And actually by doing so, eliminate bad behavior.
Yeah.
Maybe I should get sheets of gold stars. I think people would feel like I'm patronizing them a little.
Yes, I think that, but that's why you remove the physicality, because then it doesn't feel so patronizing. Why is that a bad word?
It's only bad in certain contexts, I think. Like, because, okay, so let's break it down. Patron, so like...
But that's a different word.
Okay.
Because a patron is like, you could be a patron at a bar.
No, okay, that's a different way of using the word, but patron can be the same as matron, which would be the male form of like a mother or a father figure.
Yes.
So patronizing, it's funny, we talk about how the gold stars would be more like dad and the kids, means treating you like a child.
Yes.
So that's where now that I've sort of
because patronizing is so
etymology.
bad, but then like maternal instinct is a good thing.
Yeah, and feeling cared for in the same way that your parents would care for you is something that we crave and something that we want. We just don't want them to act like they're our parents. So
anyways, after all of that, it's called Chromecast Audio.
We got there. All right, so original article here is from Techno Buffalo. Again, we've got Google Allo, which heals your burns.
Yeah, I needed some of that. Still sort of do.
Yeah, Mexico was fun for everyone but Luke on the day when he got he got second-degree burns on his freckles.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a very specific injury, but it's a thing.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's apparently a thing. The rest of my skin was like, I'm fine. Where the freckles are, roasted. Wow, it was bad. Yeah. So I want you to find this. It's not that hard to find. Google him, find this thing, because this ties into what we're exactly talking about right now.
I'll find the tweet. I'll bring that up. Okay, you talk about it in the meantime.
Okay, so Snowden has tweeted about Google's Allo thing. He says that Google's security expert blogged discussing about how Allo is unsafe by default. Hours later, he erased that part of the blog. And he says below that, I believe...
I have it up.
Google's decision... Yep, there's another tweet, actually. Google's decision to disable end-to-end encryption by default in its new Allo chat app is dangerous and makes it unsafe, and he recommends to avoid it for now. That has 8,000 retweets and 7,800 likes.
So with that warning in the back of your mind, let's talk a little bit about what it is.
Yes.
It's a new messaging app for mobile only, to which you might kind of go,
what the hell?
Why do we need this? What happened to G Talk? And then what about, don't we have Hangouts? And doesn't Google own like...
some other stuff, I think.
Yeah,
they do.
so hold on. Who owns
what it is.
Snapchat again? Is that Facebook?
Snapchat is, I think, Facebook. I could totally be wrong, though.
Yeah, Snapchat owned by Facebook. I thought Google bought something. Anyway, the point is, why do we need another messaging app? And maybe this is more of a question for the people that use other messaging apps. Like, I still can't quite figure out why people need any more than just like one. I can't figure out what happened to that concept of like awesome desktop clients like Trillian that just amalgamated all your different chats and made it, it's like, and I used Trillian for a long time. I loved Trillian, but they just couldn't keep the bugs out of it because it feels like the chat platform owners were constantly changing things just to screw with Trillian. I don't know if it's really good these days. I'd love to hear from you guys, but the answer is that it is meant to be a fresh start for Google's new communications division. You sign up with a phone number and you can connect your Google account to it. So it's WhatsApp, but with additional nonsense?
Yeah.
Speaking of which, who owns WhatsApp again?
That's Facebook.
Owned by Facebook. Oh, okay. Yeah, there we go.
That's Facebook. Yeah, I know that one.
Yep.
You can shrink or enlarge text before sending it in messages, which sounds super annoying.
I mean, remember when MSN Messenger had the ability to change your font size?
Okay, that was kind of cool. You had pink font.
Yeah. No, I just mean that's not innovative.
Right, okay.
Remember when MSN Messenger added the ability to write with your mouse?
Can Microsoft just make MSN again? I would actually go back.
I would go back.
Yeah, 100%.
Like that.
Especially if it worked on my phone.
Oh
my
man.
God. So good.
I would hardcore go back to MSN. It was by far the best. It had like the ability to send files to people, and it actually worked.
Remote desktop control was built into it.
Oh.
I diagnosed so many computers that way. I was like, oh, do you have MSN? Yeah. Okay, sweet. We can just do this.
You know,
now it's like a huge mess.
We're going to have to implement a new policy for WAN Show. Anytime we talk about a messaging app, we can't just talk about MSN.
Okay. That's probably fair. I think we do that
MSN's
every
emoji
time.
Support was worlds ahead of what other applications were doing at the time.
You could import your own and you could send them.
Yep. Which was freaking awesome. I wasn't a huge fan of them when they implemented them, but when they introduced like the higher definition ones, like that you had like all this variety. Like,
yeah.
Okay, so speaking of which, you can send and receive indicators, emojis, and custom stickers.
They do say that conversations are encrypted on the wire, which means nobody on the internet can read them as you send your message, which is a funky way of saying that. The response to Snowden's thing about it being not end-to-end encrypted is apparently that is done because of the voice command side of things. My response to that is figure it out.
There is some cool stuff, to be clear. Like, for example, if you're discussing with a friend, like, hey, we want to go out for dinner, you can actually bring Google Now features, like recommending a restaurant, right into the chat.
That's super cool.
Which I can't think of any reason why you wouldn't be able to do with Hangouts, which also has video and works cross-platform. Why do companies think that single platform, mobile only, is better?
That's very stupid. One thing that I do like is if your friend sends you a message, Allo puts some suggested replies at the bottom. That's super cool, because if your phone can tell that you're like working out, or you're at work, or you're, I love how work was in both of those, or it can like tell you're doing something, like
or you're
driving.
Working it.
Oh, or that, although you might not want an automated reply unless it's a lie.
Yeah, like, hey, I'm petting the dog.
Yeah. Or like driving, or something. If you're doing something where you don't really have time to respond, you can be able to respond easily in a like pre-done little packaged thing, which is kind of cool.
This is actually a suggestion, not for Allo, but for a messaging application that I'm actually likely to use, like maybe Hangouts. So if anyone from Google is watching, this was actually Taryn's suggestion, I think. He was like, 'cause I was just reading the bit about how it has a feature where you can doodle on the pictures that people send you, or it can like suggest to you whether the picture of your friend's dog is cute or not.
What?
Yeah, I don't think that's that useful. But what about this? What if you could set contacts to send you pixelated versions of their images by default, so you could tell if it's a dick pic before you open it?
I thought that was Edsel.
Was it Ed? Maybe it's Ed.
I don't know. Someone here talked to me about that too.
Yeah, someone in there was talking about that. I was like, that is brilliant. I mean, who wouldn't want, especially like at work? Like, say for example, if, you know, Hangouts wasn't a complete piece of trash and had a desktop client, which it should have, so that you could actually have settings that stuck with computers rather than just being account-wide. You know, there are reasons that client applications still make sense. So at work, you could enable the feature that automatically blurs pictures, so you wouldn't have an awkward situation where someone, you know, walks and looks over your shoulder and there's like, boom, dick pic.
Yeah.
Here's a good idea, free of charge.
It's a thing.
Speaking of good ideas free of charge, let's see.
So that's kind of boring.
Okay, yeah, there's Google Duo, I guess, which is a video calling app.
Because they need another app for communication.
Okay, so as a companion to the brand new messaging app, yay, we're splitting it up so we have more than one app to do the same thing.
Yep.
So, yeah. So basically it has caller ID, which is the unique feature where you can see a stream of the person before you answer the call.
Yeah.
Which I guess is the kind of thing that's going to lead to a lot of accidental nose picking while someone's looking at you, while people figure out that that's a feature. I can't think of any possible reason on the planet why I would want someone else's stream when they're calling me to start automatically before I pick up the call. I know who it's from. Why? Why? And I mean, this is not like I hope.
I guess like if you're gonna do like we're gonna get a little TMI here for a second, but if you're gonna have like a FAP session with your partner, and it happens to be their mom that is using their phone to video call you, it might be a good idea for you to know and be like, I should cover up before I answer this.
Why would you ever answer a video call naked?
I mean, you're just ready to go.
Okay, so why would you be ready to go if there wasn't some kind of pre-planning in place? And if there was pre-planning, wouldn't you know that who is operating the other end? Because if it's their mom while you're having a discussion about video calling.
Maybe communications with this person are just so often that you're just, or maybe you want to like surprise them. It's the naked man tactic from How I Met Your Mother, where you're like, I'm ready to go, and then it's their mom, and you're like, crap. Maybe I'm still ready to go, but it's not appropriate.
But a little less. Wow. Luke getting his freak on here.
I mean,
The Twitch chat's exploding. Now sex each other.
What?
Says Tristan.
We can't do that. We're in person.
Yeah,
it's gotta be over the phone.
It's against the Twitch regulations anyway. Come on.
Too.
Get your act together.
Someone got
over there,
banned for
Tristan.
that.
Yeah. So, okay, another app that I'm clearly too old to understand the value of, so there you go. It's apparently very simple to use and quick, as demonstrated by The Verge. I managed to teach my 67-year-old father, who was still running iOS 6, like 3 months ago, how to chat on Hangouts in like 40 seconds. So I'm pretty sure that a video call in Hangouts probably wasn't that hard to use. The entire app is approximately 5 megs. 5 megs of duplicating a function of an app that I literally, by default, definitely already have installed on my phone, if it's an Android phone. And it's mobile only, because screw you.
Yeah,
Screw you people who, want to sit in a chair at a desk and see a reasonable size image and not hold something while they chat with somebody.
Yeah, I mean, because that ties up one of your hands.
Why is it always coming back to this with you?
One thing that is really annoying about the mobile-only thing, though, actually the main thing in my opinion, is a lot of work stuff. Like, of course, I'm going to usually use that app on my mobile device.
Yeah.
To be completely honest. But if I'm sitting at a desk, it's really nice to be able to not pick up my phone and access it there. Lenovo, if you can figure your crap out, will eventually be releasing the Lenovo Link 32 GB, which looks great, and have been waiting to get it ever since CES, and have been on an email list so that once they release it, I can buy it personally, bring it in here, and then make a review about it. And they still haven't. Oh my god.
What is it?
It's a USB pass-through device kind of thing that you plug into your computer, and then you plug a charging cable to your phone into. Mm-hmm. And then it makes it so that you get your phone on your computer, which can already be done with like
Asus includes that, I think. But who runs an Asus phone?
Yeah, and it's device agnostic, so you can do it with whatever the heck you want. It's very fast. There's some that you can do with like having your computer be a server and your phone communicates with it wirelessly.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff,
Wi-Fi.
But it's extremely fast.
Yep.
The Link has storage built into it, which is nice. And it has like a few other features, like it can tell what orientation the phone is in.
Oh, okay.
And it like you can drag and drop file. There's a few things that it could do. I can't remember exactly what they are right now that are better than the thing that the app could do. And the other solutions. It looks very nice. And
Luke likes his PC like he likes his girls. Oily.
Sometimes they don't need oil. Sometimes they're just good to go.
So the Android N beta, speaking of being good to go, has started. It is an open beta type of relationship, if you know what I mean. And the full release will be coming later on this summer.
I don't need that.
I have done absolutely...
My relationship is 100% satisfactory.
I have...
no need for
Really?
openness.
That's not what you told me. I have actually done literally zero research into Android N and why we would care, because I actually follow very little pre-release news these days. I kind of wait till the product lands and I go, oh yeah, I like this or I don't like this, because the reality of it is a lot of the features that get announced for products or software never end up making it into the product in the first place, or the implementation is just kind of half-assed and stupid anyway. Yeah. So anyway, Android N open beta coming. So it's supported by the Nexus 6, Nexus 9, Nexus 5X, Nexus 6P, Nexus Player Pixel C, and General Mobile 4G. And that'll be, that's the full release coming this summer, not like more beta-ness or whatever people might have interpreted that to mean. Speaking of coming this summer to a kitchen near you is Blue Apron. And oh, by the way, this is cool. The first 250 people to use this link get 2 free meals on their first order. So Blue Apron is the most upsetting sponsor for me that we have ever had. Because it's only in the US right now.
Just gonna complain.
Yep, I know. And it sounds amazing. It sounds so cool. So they deliver farm fresh ingredients that are locally sourced right to your doorstep in the right proportions for you to create the meal that they send you. They have 2 plans, a 2-person plan and a family plan. The recipes are delivered in a refrigerated box, so the ingredients will stay fresh even if you're not at home. And they offer a large selection of recipes, and they're always adding new dishes to the menu every week. Each menu is about 500 to 800 calories per person, and the meals can be prepared in 40 minutes or less. So with Blue Apron, you cook for yourself, but you get a quality meal. You don't waste food.
Yeah, it's a huge thing if you, it says 1 to 2 people, so like I live on my own. Wasting food if I want to make interesting, complicated meals is basically inevitable.
It's like, even if you buy like 1 stupid thing of cilantro, it's more than you need.
Oh, yeah.
And unless you're going to use cilantro again tomorrow, it's all wilty and gross.
Yeah, exactly. So
I mean,
like making anything fancy is really frustrating.
And like,
so I just cook chicken every day.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's a fundamental problem with the system, okay? I end up buying a bag of carrots this big every time I buy carrots. Why? Because the bag of carrots this big at Superstore costs as much as buying the 3 carrots that I need to make pasta sauce today at Nestor's Market. So even though I might only use 3 of those carrots, and this is an extreme example, obviously. I'm going to use more of the carrots than that. We actually like do cook and stuff.
And munch them and whatnot.
Yeah, so yeah, even if I'm only going to use 3 of these carrots, I'm still better off on my grocery trip to Superstore, which I'm going to do anyway. I'm better off stocking up on stuff that I don't need, only to end up wasting it later, than I am buying the correct quantity from a place that sells lower quantity things off the shelf. And carrots are not even the best example, because you can actually buy individual carrots at Superstore, if I recall correctly. Same with celery stalks. You can buy individual.
The sticks, yeah.
Yeah, you can buy individual sticks. Funny story.
They are more expensive.
I didn't realize that a celery stalk was all of them. And a celery stick was 1.
See, I used to work in the produce section.
Very recently. Yes. So Blue Apron lets you get out of your comfort zone. It actually takes, if you can make the meal in 40 minutes, that is, and my wife and I have done the numbers, that is actually less time than it takes to drive somewhere, sit down, like be seated, especially if it's like dinner time, and you gotta wait 15, 20 minutes to get seated, order your food, and wait for your food. It is actually more efficient to eat at home and more affordable with Blue Apron. So I've talked about this for a really long time.
I want to add one quick thing before we're done.
Sure.
And I probably won't bring this up if we do sponsor spots for them in the future, but I just want to bring this up here. My girlfriend, she has a uncle or like some form of family connection who's this really fantastic chef. And he had basically this idea and made a Kickstarter for it. And checked out the Kickstarter, and I was like, wow, this is a wonderful idea, but the Kickstarter is bad.
Yeah.
And the Kickstarter failed. And I was kind of sad. And now I just hope that Blue Apron comes up here.
So again, I won't do this next time we do a spot for this, but Yvonne and I have a business plan for this from like about a year ago.
That's actually pretty in line with the Kickstarter.
I hadn't seen that. I was trying to convince her to leave Costco, and even if she didn't want to pursue a career at Linus Media Group, I still really felt like her talents would be better suited to something bigger than running a pharmacy. And we actually kicked this idea around, and we came up with it together, where we would leverage the strengths of Linus Media Group to promote and to provide video guides to go along with the recipes.
Oh man, I would have loved to do that.
This was a really cool idea.
Oh, that would have been fun.
Because I know the idea is not the newest thing ever, like food being delivered.
Yeah.
But we sort of had this concept for how we could leverage partnerships just locally and start it locally, and then create this fun cooking with whoever it is. Yeah. And these personas and these video personalities to go along with it, that we really thought could take it to the next level and would be way cooler. So there you go. If Blue Apron's watching this spot, guys, video instructions would be like super duper cool. And
you guys could have like a side thing, which is like call it like fun food. and do like not necessarily just like a meal. Do like have like a fun food Super Bowl edition.
And some really cool video content creators up in Vancouver, Canada, who would love to do more around food. You're just kind of saying.
Yeah.
Speaking of things that I'm just kind of saying, iFixit. I'm not going to deny that iFixit is sponsoring the video today, like I did with that other video that I then found out later they were indeed the sponsor of. iFixit is your complete DIY electronics repair solution. From their 19,000 free step-by-step repair guides to their huge inventory of replacement parts, they have got you covered. And today we're talking about, these notes are awful. Way to go, Colton and Nick. Today we're talking about their latest and greatest, the all-new ProTech Toolkit.
Completely reimagined design, but just as rugged and portable as
It's
before.
got more driver bits than ever before. 64 compared to 54. Okay, it is actually better. Comes in a better case. It's got a magnetic thing that holds the screwdriver kit in place and the lid on the screwdriver kit. It's got a better swivel top precision screwdriver. It actually feels a lot nicer in the hand. You can get more torque.
Torque was a problem with the last one.
It comes with the suction cup, which the old one didn't, which I actually used on our trip to Mexico to pry open an iPhone 6S. It's not as good as their special tool for opening iPhones, but I was able to do it and I didn't break anything.
Yeah.
So you've got like everything you kind of need. And the best part is that it's backed by a lifetime warranty and is available for $70. And you can save $5 off a purchase of $10 or more on their store by going to iFixit.com/Linus and using offer code WAN when you do it.
Oh, snap.
Speaking of...
When you do it.
Oh, snap. Squarespace. Has Squarespace done more WAN show sponsorships than any other brand?
They've probably done more WAN show sponsorships than like a fair number of other brands combined.
I think that is probably a fair thing for you to say. Nick's sending me messages during the sponsor spots. That's never good. It's always bad. No, I'm not gonna look at it. Sorry, Nick.
Oh.
No, I'm just kidding. I looked at it. I'll get to it, Nick. So Squarespace, simple, powerful, beautiful. That's the slogan they had when we first started working with them, which is when these notes are actually from. They've got 24/7 support via live chat and email. It's only $8 a month. You get a free domain if you buy Squarespace for the year, and all of their beautiful website templates, whether you're creating a blog for yourself, whether you are creating a promotional web page for your little league soccer team, or whether you're creating a little site to sell stuff that you've made or a portfolio, Squarespace, his beautiful templates have got you covered. And if
you should
find yourself looking for, other features to spice up your Squarespace site, they've got little things like their logo design helper. They've got, let's see, you can dig into the code a little bit more if you want to. You can play around with those things. You can keep it accessible and just use all of the web-based, UI modifications. Drag this here, move this there, alter this text, and you can start a trial with no credit card required and start building your website today. But don't just do that and forget about it. When you decide to sign up for Squarespace,
you should
make sure you use offer code Linus to get 10% off your first purchase. Thank you, Squarespace, for supporting the WAN show. That's actually in there. I never say that. Squarespace, build it beautiful.
You should. Those are old notes.
Yes, they are. Simple, powerful, beautiful. I mean, how old is that slogan? I'm going to go on Squarespace's website right now and see if they have like a new slogan.
I don't think so. I think it's still you should.
Is it still you should?
Hold
on.
No.
I don't see you should anywhere.
No.
Perfect websites, trusted by the world's best. Why aren't we on here?
Because, so we're not as cool as like Fast Company and Freeman's?
Yeah. And what the
Lyft?
heck is #girlboss?
I don't know.
I'm sure someone knows, but I don't. Over 1 million paying customers. Wow, you can do that math, hey?
Whoa.
Ballin' so hard.
That's like the new World of Warcraft.
Squarespace of Warcraft? World of Squarespace? I mean, can you imagine an MMO based on website building?
The boss is like this really complicated, extensive website.
It's like Flash.
And inherently, because this is classic world of Squarespace, you need a 40-person team, and a huge part of the difficulty is just coordinating all of those developers to create this like intense Flash-based website.
You know what the worst thing about this conversation is? Is this sounds like exactly the kind of asinine idea that would get thrown around in like a boardroom full of executives. Like, how do we gamify building websites? Like, well, you know, I heard of World of Warcraft once. You know, maybe we need like website craft.
Squares in spacecraft.
Squares in spacecraft. It's like StarCraft, but like not just stars, all of space.
Oh no.
All right, Android Wear 2.0, getting back on topic somewhat, is a huge new update, one about which I am extremely disappointed. I recently, completely my own fault, and I have no one to blame but myself, broke my ZenWatch 2 by diving to about 70 feet
You should blame the ZenWatch 2.
Salt water.
The ZenWatch 2 should have a warning being like, we're detecting water. You should resurface.
Yeah, that's why I'm so salty, not because of the water salinity.
Yeah. To be fair, I'm kidding. That was a joke.
So it includes a new smart reply feature, allowing you to respond to incoming notifications quickly by scribbling on the touchscreen.
This just means you're going to get a new watch.
I think it should be a software update. I guess I'll find out, because there's still a G-Watch R over there. I might just steal that. But you know what I want is more granularity in the control of what I do with notifications and ways to synchronize across devices. That is really my only complaint about Android Wear. It kind of already does everything I could possibly want it to do, other than the fact that it really makes me mad when I reply to something with voice and then that email is still sitting unread in my inbox. Because it's just, why?
Let me know what you think about this. I'm going to deviate a little bit. I was just thinking in my head about how like you do the traditional watch thing, and I'm thinking about doing the fitness watch thing. I'm going to still do the video that we had planned first.
Yeah.
Should I say it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to benchmark a bunch of traditional fitness trackers against like a Fitbit. Not like a ZenWatch, but like a Fitbit against a chest strap, which is traditionally a lot better at accurately determining your heart rate, and then comparing how well the wrist version does. And then what I'm thinking is take the top one, maybe two, and do a proper review on them.
That's a good idea.
So be like, okay, these ones are really accurate. These ones are probably the ones you should be going for if you want a fitness tracker. Now I'm going to properly review them.
Are they actually any good just as a usable device?
There's huge amounts of issues on that side of things. Holy crap. And like, I'm very frustrated right now with the fact that the like more like, I'm going to say traditional, but that is so literally the wrong word. The like smartwatch side of things are kind of really bad. Generally,
I'd like to see the people who call you Burger Boy fight you.
Burger Boy.
Someone called you Luke Burger Boy.
I would love to fight them too. The like smartwatch kind of stuff is usually really bad at doing fitness stuff. The Apple Watch is pretty good, but then it has other issues. And then the fitness watches suck at being smartwatches, and we just need them to do the thing together.
No, I think that's a great idea. I think that makes a ton of sense. So let's see what else it's got. There's updates to the fitness software, allowing you to leave your phone at home and track your activity automatically using a third-party app on Android Wear. It's set to launch this fall. Devs can create watch faces that show information from any Android Wear app, so that's cool, I guess.
Those are both good things.
Let's move into some of our more rapid-fire news for this week. Original article here is from PCGamer.com or GeForce.com if you want to get it directly from the horse's mouth. NVIDIA posts an Overwatch advertisement. GTX 1070 specifications.
Which is super exciting because it's actually quite a bit cheaper.
And it's probably the more relevant one. Because that is a thing.
Well, the $599 price point versus the $379 price point is like, whoa, a lot more people are going to be able to afford
so
that.
this is going to, in terms of performance, effectively displace the... do you want to come say bye to the WAN show people?
Nope.
No?
Oh.
Goodbye, WAN show people.
This is Ash. You may recognize him from such YouTube videos as videos that he's made. I'm sure the Twitch chat's going to freak out and you're already going to be gone. Anyway, it was really nice hanging out today and lunch and all that stuff. Is that a high 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
Bye.
See you later, and we'll talk soon. So at $379 for not a Founders Edition.
Yeah.
Wow. It's going to have the performance of a GTX 980 Ti, it looks like. Ooh, because a 980 Ti that's a thing. I mean, that is a good VR experience.
Yes, and you will have the new stuff, which almost matters more depending on what you're doing than the like raw performance, because you'll have SMP, simultaneous multi-production, Anvil if you're into that kind of stuff, but mainly SMP. SMP makes stuff like VR and multi-monitor support like crazy amounts better. So yeah, looking pretty cool.
Okay, so you're really still. Oh, we never actually talked about what the specs are. We did a bad job.
Okay, so
topic.
It's still a GP104, so that's not big Pascal. That's like smaller Pascal.
Same die as the 1080,
Yes.
just a lower binned one.
Yeah, so the core clock is 1506. The boost clock is 1683.
Very close to 1080.
Yes. Do remember that clock for clock on graphics cards isn't really a thing. Although 1080 versus 1070, it will be more of a thing, but like compared to other generations, don't necessarily do that calculation. Your VRAM clock speed is 8,000. That is GDDR5, not GDDR5X. You have 8 gigs of RAM. Your bus width is 256-bit. There's some question mark specs on here, so I guess they haven't fully released everything.
I'm pulling up the official one from NVIDIA here.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Yeah, it looks like they are not being 100% clear about everything.
They've released a lot of specs.
Yeah, 150 watt TDP, 2-slot cooler, blah, 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 blah.
The 1080 is being released on the 27th, so I believe it's being released for sale on the 27th. And then the launch date of the 1070 is June 10th. So
is that rumored or is that confirmed?
That's shown without a question mark on here.
Okay, so
I'm assuming that that's confirmed.
Yeah, that's from the PC Gamer article. I actually haven't gotten a confirmation from NVIDIA exactly when 1070 is dropping, so
okay.
So don't quote us on that. Don't get us in trouble,
sure.
Because we talked about three-way SLI not being a thing on the 1080 on the WAN show, and I got this frantic email from NVIDIA.
No, guys.
They were like, actually, guys, Luke was like super sick during that part of the presentation.
Yeah.
That's not a thing.
To be fair,
the way that they're doing it is really dumb.
yes, and it's like kind of sketchy and is probably going to suck a lot, like way worse than it normally does, and we'll probably have a video on that.
Yeah, and we super don't agree with how they're doing it.
Yeah.
I haven't talked to you about it, but I don't agree, and I assumed you don't agree.
I don't agree either. What is your reason, though? We might as well talk about it.
I think software unlocks for a product that you bought to enable functionality that you gave me with the last generation product is a dick move.
Yep. I understand the reason why they're doing it.
Because these are people with more money than sense anyway.
Well, I think part of it's because the
Call
way...
it like it is.
I think, yeah, I'm still a little misinformed. I'm waiting till we get the actual bridges, so I'm probably going to get another mad email from BDR. Sorry. But I think if it's being enabled, it's through the backend through DX12 and not at all through their stuff. So I think they don't want it to happen, but I think because of DX12, they don't have a huge amount of choice. Because they'll either look like the super bad guy for locking it down no matter what, or they'll look like kind of not very good if they have it enabled for everybody and then it just sucks.
I think it's just going to suck the same amount as it always has.
Really? I think it's going to suck more.
You think it's going to suck more? Okay, well then, stay tuned. Let's find out how much. Yeah.
But yeah, I do kind of agree with the, like, if you're going to SLI, you should probably stop at 2.
Yep.
Kind of mentality anyways, so...
If you're going to SLI, you should definitely stop at 2. 3 and 4 is for people with more money than sense. It is legitimately not better. Take it from me. How many video cards do you think I could take home at the end of the day if I felt like it?
That'd be annoying, because then they wouldn't be in inventory.
Right, but
I get you.
How many could I?
Yeah, a lot.
I mean, I could just
so many Titans.
I could like call up anyone, literally any video card maker. I could say, hey, I need 4 video cards. I'm doing a personal rig update video. And they would be in the mail, literally any video card maker. I do not run those because it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
It's a bad experience.
NVIDIA themselves, in an extremely difficult demo that they were like pushing really hard to run, ran 2-way SLI with a PhysX card. Not 3-way, not 4-way. So like,
so please don't. Speaking of please don't spend all your money. You love this topic.
I absolutely love this topic. It is so cool. Okay, so there's an English bank. What is it called? Intelligent Environments or something? I don't even really care. But it gives you like a wristband. And if the funds in your account go below an agreed limit, the band kicks in and will hit you with a 255 volt shock. I hope it does it every single time that the value continues to go further down. So it's like, man, I really want to buy a sandwich because I'm pretty hungry, but I'm gonna get electroshocked. And I really hope that like people don't just take it off, because that is so fabulously hilarious. There's another thing.
No! It's a British firm giving bank customers an electroshock. So no bank has actually announced support yet. So it could be across multiple banks, which is really cool. And they're looking to add more functionality, like the ability to turn down your Nest heating to save on your energy bill if the funds are low. Honestly, I think with the way that, I
wanted to add more and be like, if you leave the house and the central heating is still on, it'll just like shock you like every 10 minutes until you remotely turn it down. Like, I want this thing to just be like, hey, you're screwing up. Hey, fix it.
This is why you shouldn't design the product. But I
want one for myself.
Just mod it.
Yeah.
I'm sure there will be mods.
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be able, I'm sure any company that designs something to electroshock people, I'm sure you could convince them to make a more hardcore version. I'm sure they'd be down.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was talking to Brandon about this, where he's like, yeah, like, it seems like our generation doesn't save money, like, can't save money.
Yeah.
And part of the conversation with him was like, look at the way that, everything from the smell in a retail store is designed, like the amount of research and like psychology that goes into making people buy stuff. I mean, I'm not saying that, oh, poor you bought that $200 pair of jeans and now you can't afford your rent. You're such a victim. I'm not saying that. That's not what's happening here.
Yeah.
But I am saying that you are up against forces that are bigger than you probably realize when it comes
it's
to
a really big deal.
People trying to get your money from you.
There's even like road signs that you can drive past that emit the smell of like steak before you come up to a steak shop. Like there's
some stuff out there.
There's lots of stuff going on.
So it's refreshing to see intelligent environments giving a crap.
And my reason for this, a bunch of people in chat are
it's the
calling me
Pavlok wristband, by the way, is what the product's called.
Which is kind of funny. But they're calling me Masso or whatever, which is like, it's fine. I get where you're coming from. But my actual reasoning for this is myself and a lot of other people, I will self-admit this, find it easy to put things off. Because I'll just be like, oh, I have something more important to do right now. The importance of things increases when you are literally being electroshocked. And if like I left the heat on and I'm like, well, crap, I'm doing whatever right now. I'm driving right now. I don't want to do this. If it's like, and I'm like, okay, shit, I should probably pull over, deal with this, and then keep driving. Because honestly, that's fine. It's not going to take me that much time to pull over to the side of the road, deal with it, and keep driving. It's not a big, that's a crazy background. But like, it just, I don't know. I want it. I think it would be good.
Uber joins the race for driverless cars. The original article here is from The Verge. Meet Uber's first self-driving car. It's a Ford Fusion hybrid. How exciting.
Cool.
So, I mean, this shouldn't come as any surprise. I think 2 weeks ago we were talking about Lyft working with whoever the crap it was to deploy a fleet of them, like, immediately. I mean, the amount of money that someone like Uber could save. Remember, how much you can charge for a service doesn't necessarily have anything to do with the cost of providing the service. It has to do with how much it costs someone else to provide the service. So if you are the first one to have a fleet of driverless cars, you can effectively just make mad bank because you don't have to pay the person that someone else has to pay in order to compete with you. There's not really a whole lot to say other than that the
things I'm going to find interesting are like refueling them, recharging them. those sort of things. Are they going to have to pair up with gas stations to make it so that the driverless car can drive up and there'll be an attendant that will fill it?
And if
it's
you were a gas
charged
station,
properly?
would you want that Uber contract?
Definitely.
I sure would.
Holy crap, yeah.
Yeah.
Or are they all electric? Do they know like Roombas to go like pull back into a parking spot so they can keep charging and then keep going, or like how?
Was it Tesla talking about like wireless charging pads?
Yeah.
Yep.
But are they gonna have to program intelligence for them to like go home for a while and charge?
Sounds fairly simple. Actually,
It wouldn't be that bad,
Yep.
but like that'd be really interesting to drive by like the little nest of cars that provide all the Uber transactions for the city. Is this going to become cheaper for a lot of people if there's electric driverless cars that you just call on your phone and are there extremely fast than owning a vehicle?
For sprawling cities like Vancouver, it's just this like suburban sprawl.
Because there's already go cars.
I can see this legitimately eliminating the need for people to at least own 2 cars. Like maybe they only need one now, and they really like legitimately needed 2 because they commute this way and that way.
Yeah. He's talking about like families.
Yeah, not individuals needing to own 2 cars.
It's the biggest first world problem ever.
Yeah, it's like, oh, which one should I drive today?
I mean, this one like looks cooler, but this one's more utilitarian. I'm not sure. Yeah, no, he's talking about like families that have to go different directions.
Speaking of going different directions, I'm going a different direction. I'm going backwards in terms of topics. What if your bank account went below your limit while you were like in the checkout on like a porn site and your hand was like occupied? This is E-Pete's asking about what if you get a shock while you're kind of, busy?
Well, then it's worse.
I guess.
You just got to deal with it.
So you probably shouldn't be spending your last
should
dollar.
You should then be more aware of what your current bank account is.
So if you're like watching like a live cam or something like that and you're just kind of throwing money at it,
then you should be more aware.
Then you should probably be shocked.
That's your fault.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Entirely. If you want to throw money at it, you need to set yourself a limit.
Yeah.
And play within the limit. That's how gambling works.
Luke's
That's like
financial tips.
Yeah.
Just the tips.
Exactly. Unless they want more.
Let's see. Oh, this is horrible. A California dad accidentally live streamed child's birth from the delivery room. The mom says, "I was okay. I was just focused on pushing. It's a beautiful thing. Nothing to be ashamed of."
Good response, Mom.
I've had 2 kids. I don't agree with her.
I don't agree with that either.
But
how do you accidentally live stream that?
I agree that it was the right response. Given the circumstances.
How do you accidentally live stream
The video was shown through Facebook Live, has now been viewed over 300,000 times. And to be clear, guys, we're talking about this news topic. We are not recommending that you go,
I would recommend that you don't.
I would recommend that you not, because, it's one of those things where for the 12-year-olds in the audience, it might sound pretty cool. It's not.
Nope.
It's not.
It's just kind of gross.
It's not.
I don't want a kid.
Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, this sucks. So I knew about this already. This happened a while ago actually, but Oculus DRM kills the hack that ports games to competing headsets. They had already figured this out when I was trying to play Lucky's Tale on the Vive, which I believe I should have every right to do. I have already paid for an Oculus Rift. They just haven't shipped it to me. So why can't I play Lucky's Tale on my Vive? Anyway.
I wish they just had it exclusive to the store, not exclusive to the headset.
I understand their perspective, but I also fully understand my perspective. I shouldn't have to play on the headset I don't want to play on if I legitimately own the game, even if it's a game you can only get by buying a Rift.
To be fair, if you owned both, the setup use case of Lucky's Tale would play better on a Rift.
Right, but I just want to play it.
I know, and if you don't own both, then that's better. The reason why I say that is just because the Rift is more comfortable and lighter, and it's just a seated experience anyways, so it's better for that.
So they had tweaked it so that when I tried to do the hack, your controller wouldn't work. So maybe now it's even more, has been patched.
I have a really good feeling that someone's going to beat that, because if they're just making it so that your controller doesn't work, I got to imagine someone's just going to make a thing that tricks it into thinking that it's a different controller,
I gotta imagine that in the world of like dorky dorks who code dorky things for other dorks
and don't have money, that's always the best combination.
Yeah, VR is gonna be like a thing for hacks. Speaking of being a thing, Nokia wasn't a thing for phones for a bit there. They're returning to mobile with Android phones and tablets. I was just thinking, you know what? We don't have enough makers of Android phones and tablets.
Yeah, when I read this, I was like, wow, I don't care. So, yeah, I guess we're in the same boat.
So Microsoft is offloading Nokia's old phone business to Foxconn subsidiary and a company called HMD Global Oy for $350 million. It's probably more than it's worth. Nokia has revealed that HMD is also acquiring rights to use the Nokia name on smartphones and tablets for the next 10 years.
Head-mounted display.
No, not head-mounted. Anyway, so there you go. Nokia's involvement in the new devices will be very limited. So basically, it'll be Chinese smartphones and tablets with Nokia name on them.
Sure.
Stuff. So there was one more topic that I wanted to hit before we close out the show today, and oh crap, I forget where it went. Where did it go?
What are you looking for?
Where did it go? Oh, no. Oh, yeah, no, I guess that was it. I just wanted to, I just wanted to show Nerd Sports. Da, 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 da. So it's really funny. There was an issue with our network connection. Last time I tried to show you guys a teaser from a Nerd Sports episode that made it look like Vessel didn't work because the timing was perfect. So that's not actually what happened. So this is my follow-up to that, where I wanted to show you guys some clips from the hockey episode of Nerd Sports. So all 5 episodes are out now, and Vessel's available at the link under the WAN show with a free 1-week trial, so you can actually check them all out and then decide if the early access is worth it for you or not.
So if you're like, Nerd Sports is behind a paywall, I mean, just if you can watch 5 episodes in a week.
Yeah, these guys were mostly nice, except when they celebrated after knocking over Dennis.
Yeah.
Was that you trying to help him up?
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't skate either. A bunch of people have sent me things being like, I thought you'd be better at hockey. I'm actually pretty good at ball hockey. I went like...
You're better than Colton.
I went like
Look at him skate. Look at him skate.
Oh, no, Colton.
So this is them skating around in hula hoops. So for those of you who don't really get the whole Nerd Sports concept...
We almost got that one. That was you passing to me, I think.
Oh, that was actually pretty good. That looked not bad.
I screwed up the shot. I remember I apologized to you about this like so many times. Oh, no.
No! Okay, yeah. Oh, we both almost got it.
There was a few times that we did that. But I screwed up.
Anyway,
oh, wow.
So at that point in the video, they're actually playing with little plastic hockey sticks, skating with hula hoops, and I think they're holding pineapples or something like that. So the idea behind Nerd Sports is not just that nerds go up against real athletes, but that we actually try to level the playing field.
Yeah.
As creatively as we can, and sometimes we have to go pretty hardcore in order to get them to be competitive with us. That sequence, like if you ignore the fact that those guys didn't have sticks and couldn't skate because they had hula hoops around each of their skates, looked pretty good. Like that looked like a legit like cool scoring chance.
Yeah. I like, yeah, to reiterate my hockey thing, I played a lot of ball hockey, played on like a national level. It was great. Could never afford to play ice hockey. Ice hockey is like easily one of the most expensive of that type of sports. Like the gear is extremely expensive. Like American football, you get your gear from your club and then you give it back at the end of the year. Ice hockey is not that way. You buy all of your own gear and it's extremely expensive. Could not afford it as a kid. Never was into ice hockey. Not very good. I knew like where I should be and what I should be doing, and was just not really able to do it because of the skates, which was so frustrating.
So the extent of my hockey experience is watching it on TV.
Yeah.
And I had played ice hockey at like a company event I was still in university, so this must have been about 10 years ago, for about 20, 30 minutes. And I had done a lot of, like, I'm pretty good on rollerblades, inline skates, excuse me.
I used to be, yeah.
Like, I am pretty fast, I am pretty stable, I'm pretty good on rollerblades. And I had done a lot of, like, skating around on the concrete slab at home with the orange ball and the hockey stick.
Yeah.
And the way that slab was set up, there were no walls anywhere. So if I missed the net, I had to go hike. So I'm like an okay shot with a ball. So like I know the wrist action.
Yeah, it's different.
But the extent of my ice hockey experience was like that 20-30 minutes at like that company thing. And the extent of my ice skating experience is probably less than 10 hours on ice, including all my elementary school trips to the rink.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised if I was similar.
So we did our best, but it was not good. And then the last thing, the thing that Nick was bugging me about, is that he wants me to do a call out for the foil shirts, like the ones that I am wearing right now. Those are limited edition shirts. I'm going to go ahead and post those in the Twitch chat here. Boom. There's the silver one, and here's the gold one. The gold one, actually, the consensus around the office seems to be that the gold one looks better. So maybe check out that gold one. That's the second link I just put up if you want a limited edition foil shirt.
Not this at all, but the idea of what I'm doing that ties into this. Can I call that out?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I'm doing a charity stream starting...
After party, but not... But it's...
Oh, it's not starting tonight. So I'm going to be doing an after party tonight for sure.
Okay.
Which is going to be setting the whole after party thing is going to be working on like DOSBox and like setting up a whole bunch of stuff because I'm doing a charity stream starting tomorrow, Saturday at noon PST, which is going to be I think like 27 plus hours long, which is ridiculous. I'm starting in 1990 and playing a game.
You better be conscious when you come in on Monday.
Yeah, it's the reason why I'm starting at noon is so that I have enough time to sleep for like 12 hours or something before I have to come to work. Yeah, no, it's okay. It's planned out. So I'm going to be doing a different game every hour, starting with a game from 1990 and iterating the year every time. So the first hour will be Super Mario World from 1990. The second hour will be Civilization 1 from 1991. And then I think it goes like Wolfenstein 3D, Doom, and like progresses all the way through. And there's a bunch of different games throughout the way. It's not like what was the best game from that year. It's what was the most like influential game on me. So there's a bunch of Elder Scrolls. There's Halo 1 and 2. There's like some series stuff like that. But yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. And it's going to be a giant charity stream for Extra Life. So come on by. Should be fun.
All right. I posted a link to Luke's channel in the chat there. So guys, check that out if you're into that sort of thing. Got people asking you to play Total Annihilation. I still need to teach you Supreme Commander so we can play sometime. It's such a good game. I think there's still like an underground like group that maintains rankings and servers and stuff like that.
That's awesome. You know, a game was really good when that happens.
It was just too cult. It's too niche.
Yeah.
All right. So good night, guys. Thank you for tuning into the WAN Show. We'll see you again. Next week. Same bat time. Same bat channel.
Bye.